right, I think we're live. Hold on, let me check my channel here to see if we are active, and then we're going to. I'm going to check my microphone, make sure we'll work, and then we'll get to work. So
Sure,
check.
work.
Yeah. Hey, that was, what is work? All weird, no blue makes a. I don't know what that would go. Anyway, I'm being weird. So, hey guys, my name's Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. I'm creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting using Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024 rules. And yeah, I've been a DM since 1987. I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004-ish. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, and I've been creating content on the DMsGuild for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition since 2017, but I've never published an adventure. I've participated in a bunch of similar content, like Ryan Linger's Adventures in Chronomancy. I made a number of layers one at each tier of play. That's an awesome book. Check that out. And also did a lot of encounter and random stuff for Inkwell Ideas with their index card games. Well, not index card games. It's what is it? It's they have a stack of encounter cards, and I made like maybe 150 of them, a lot of them. So I've done a lot of lair and adventure stuff. Plus, I've been DMing for 30 some odd years. So 38 years. Fuck, 38 years, right? So. I'm pretty experienced at that, but I've just never actually sat down and published something. So Andy Headley, the old goat, and Stuart Braz, our editor, we worked together to create this Eberron adventure. So let me fix my screens a bit here and drop these things out of the way. On YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. We're at episode 369 of all of the asset production of maps, tokens, illustrations, creatures, assets that go into both the asset pack, the zip file that you get to be able to actually run the game with all the visual assets, as well as the PDF itself. So you can see that entire playlist here. Discord community, what up? And here's a drop down for a bunch of different books that we've already created on the DMsGuild. Check them out, and if you think this stuff is cool, stick around. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday. In the mornings like this, I do artwork. Monday, Tuesday, and Friday lunchtimes, I do design stream. Thursday night, I do design, and on Saturday brunch, workbench, I'll do artwork, whatever. Artwork, design work, DM prep, character creation, bunch of stuff. So we're creating different artifacts that are related to each plane of existence in the Eberron campaign setting. We are currently working on the Banner of Shavareth, the battleground. Pretty simplistic. But the idea is that these artifacts are created on their related plane of existence. They are then brought to Eberron and act as a lightning rod for creating manifest zones to that specific plane. So if you know, each plane has a ritual that can be used to create a manifest zone if you have the artifact to power the energy needed to bridge the planes. So a fun fetch quest mission, especially if your characters want to have access to other planes of existence. Running a campaign where these artifacts are required gives you a 13 levels worth of adventure. This adventure starts as early as 7th level, and if you land there, by completing this mission at level, then you'll be level 8. You'll be able to go through all 13 artifacts starting at 7th level to acquire all of them and end your campaign, like becoming, I don't know, master of the multiverse or some shit. I haven't thought that far ahead. It's your campaign. It's beyond the scope of this particular adventure, but this adventure introduces the idea to the artifact and ritual of creating different planes of existence and the sort of organizations that would be interested in that magic, either for good or bad. So all those like subtle details are provided here in the adventure. It just is part of context of running it. and if it's a theme that you like, again, you can continue carrying it forward. If you're successful in some directions with this mission, with this adventure, you end up with a bastion, which is the research facility used to create the manifest zone to Mabar. You can become its stewards to prevent other people from trying to breach the area and do the magic again. There's also options leading down into the Underdark, Kyber underneath the laboratory, and it's the Karnwood, so that's central northern Karnath that oversees the fields, the open plains of southeastern Karnath, which is the Talenta Plains. Karnath just kind of spills into the Talenta Plains. Polenta. So if you're interested in heading into halfling territory, this is a good place to establish operations along in the Karnwood to then descend southward towards Talenta Plains. That's where the sheriff that deputizes you is spending most of his time, is messing around with border disputes with invading halflings. The halflings were not involved in the last war, so for the past 500 years, Karnath has barely had the resources to handle halflings in southeastern territory. But now that the war is over and they have a ton of military assets that they don't necessarily want to put an end to, make more use of, they can start pushing halflings away from Karnath territory, and that is creating a sort of Great Plains Wild West scenario akin to Wild West of the United States. Ironically, Keith and his crew released the Threshold, the Western type the Western type campaign town along the border between Brayland and Droam. This is another example of a sort of Wild West feel. Again, with the Great Plains along between Talenta and Karnath. So there's a very much, it seems culturally that the place is set up to slide into a fantasy magic Wild West setting pretty easily, where firearms aren't necessary. You can just use wands with cantrips loaded into them as basically makeshift crossbows that don't have the reload property. Or if you want to allow marshals, the way that I run guns in Eberron is you've got the wand, and you would have a rune carved into the device to power whatever elemental or whatever magical energy, whether it's radiant, force, or an elemental damage type. But you channel it through the wand. And the reload here, there we go. And so the reload action is you tracing the glyph in the stalk. So you perform a quick ritual of basically tracing the lines. It reactivates the ritual, or it reactivates the rune. Which, when you take the attack action, you're able to recarve the rune and then fire it again, and then start recarving the rune. So all you have to do is just basically trace the sigil with your finger and focus on it. And it'll make the magic work. So it's like combat magic that uses the same motion of the reload action. So if you are a sharpshooter that's versed in quick reloading, then you're basically just tracing the sigil as you're targeting your aim, and once it's done, it pops, and then you start the ritual over again. So you just have done it so often that you just basically can play keys on a keyboard to trace the sigil needed to fire the type of energy that you have. So that is part of the proficiency, like the firearm proficiency that I use in my Eberron campaign setting, based in magic. And if your character knows the Eldritch Blast cantrip, you can just pick up a wand and use Eldritch Blast through the wand, and it'll do the damage type that's attuned to the firearm, quote unquote firearm. So that's the idea that goes on behind that, for that Wild West sort of vibe. And it basically just does, it's just basically crossbow damage unless you have the Eldritch cantrip, the Eldritch Blast cantrip, in which case you're naturally going to gain more attacks per round, which is just the same, it's the same ritual tracing reload property, except that the cantrip is so, the cantrip is so light in its preparation that you can actually make a reload speed out of it because it's such a fast little combat cantrip. So Eldritch Blast has become like the premier combat cantrip to use because you can crack off shots so quickly with it when you become skilled. Anyway, I'll stop talking about that now. I think I've talked that point out. So let's add a little bit of a furl here. Good enough. We'll just leave that there for now. It certainly isn't highly epic, but it'll do. I think I need to resize some of these, actually. Yeah, I think I need to make these four just a little bit smaller to create a little more space for these guys. So a little bit more space for this guy. And then I think I need to drop the size of these two to be able to match scale with everyone else. Pardon the pun. Yeah, that feels better. That. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, good morning. Hey, we're going to be back at lunchtime today. We've been updating the color mana list for the Magic the Gathering 5-color mana spell point conversion system that replaces the 8 schools of Magic and Vancian spell slots with the color mana system from Magic the Gathering for use with Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. And I think today will be session 4. We'll be going through levels 7 through 9. I can get through about 100 spells per hour, and I have an hour lunch today to do so. So that's what we'll be doing. And then on Thursday, tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll be back again doing more Eberron Art like this in the morning, and then I will be back then Thursday morning again to continue Eberron artwork. Trumpet of Thelanis, huh? No, the Flute of Serania. That's where we're at. 10. Flute of Serania. The Azure Sky. Making a flute, so let's do something interesting. This feels right. I don't know what it is I'm doing right now, but it feels like the right thing to do, so. That. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Something like that. Thursday night, we're going to continue working on the Ability Check Bastion campaign book that we're making for 5th edition. Basically, I've been developing a Guilds and Kingdoms system for Dungeons and Dragons based loosely on the work that Adam Hancock created with Balduran's Guide to Kingdom Building. He was my editor for the Spelljammer book that I created that implemented some rudimentary mechanics from that Guilds and Kingdom system. That's evolved a lot over the past 3 years now, I think. And I've been using it in a campaign for the past 6 months, playtesting it. I'm very happy with where it's at. And now the Bastion system came out, and lo and behold, like pretty much everything else that I'm doing, 2025 really set me up to have a strong mechanical base and precedence for what 5e can do now, which allows me to introduce a lot of the mechanical concepts of 5e that I like, that are now very, very close to what mainstream D&D has become. So I am personally thrilled with 5e. Is mechanically design from a design perspective, 5e is just really, really fun content to mess around with. Like a super simple example, having fighter subclasses that have like around 7th level or 10th level do something with second wind so that they get like a second wind perk is a great example of how to use character mechanics to lean into new design. The idea that you can have free use of free castings for like specialist spells for subclasses, or to add kicker effects to spells that like the Archfey Warlock is a prime example. Like when you use a teleport effect. When you use Misty Step specifically, you get like these kicker effects that you can choose from. That is such a wide design space for first, second level spells to just lean into. I am this spell type specialist. Like this spell is what I lean into, and Warlock seems to be just the perfect vessel to do that with. So I love that stuff. I think it's super cool. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Oh my god, that's so fucking perfect. Decent. This is decent design work, like just a little twiddly bit. Gotta mind my angles a little bit here. And the free transform, I'm gonna distort this just a smidge. Just make sure it stays. Yeah, there we go. Just make sure it stays lined up. And let's just distort this a smidge. Good enough for the moment. What's the next thing? 11 is the Trumpet of Thelanis. Wow, we got some musical instruments going on down here. 11, Thelanis. What plane is Thelanis? The Feywild. Trumpet. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about a thing. I need to knock this thing down real quick. I'm thinking one. This is unrelated to Eberron. It's just something that's running around inside my head right now. 1,000, 10,000. Rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. GP. Time 100, 100, 10, 10, 1. Rank, gold piece per day. Yeah, 1 per day. 10 per day, 100 per day, 1,000 per day, which is the same. 1 per day, 10 per day, which is the same as 100 per 10 days. That doesn't jive. Well, I guess that would be the minimum time. I'm trying to find a gold piece scaling value that moves from common, uncommon, rare, very well, legendary with the rank of your blacksmiths or your crafters being 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th rank at 1st, 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th levels, and the time it takes to process items of that value, which would be 1 gold per day, 10 gold per day, 3rd would be 100 gold per 10, 1,000 per 10, and then 10,000 per 100. But there's no difference between 1,000 per 10 days and 10,000 per 100 days. Still working on it. Still working on it. It's there. I can feel it. I can feel it. That's the stuff that we're messing around with for the Bastion system right now, creating magic items. We'll be spending probably 2 or 3 hours on that Thursday night. So if that's interesting to you, definitely like, subscribe, tune in, because once you build ability checks into the Bastion system, you can use it as to generate adventure hooks. We'll be spending time talking about and building out lists of different types of challenges that the team can take with different tasks that they choose. Get that built. That's good. I am particularly excited about that Bastion system. My friend Eric Tetruk, he created on the DMsGuild recently Bastions of Ravnica, which is using the current Bastion system in the DMG and creating new options that are Ravnica flavored, specifically using Ravnica lore for the 10 guilds. Great idea. I would very much like to be able to partner and provide conversion for the Bastion book that we're creating. I would like for it to be able to work with the material that he came up with as a added value bonus sort of benefit and bundle them together. I think that'd be a lot of fun. This Saturday, so let's see, Friday, we'll have the spell list. We're going to have the Color Mana spell list done today. And then the next time we're going to have a lunch stream will be on Friday. We're going to do Bastion stuff Thursday night. I think on Friday we're going to revisit the Spelljammer subclasses that we've been building. That seems like the right place to do that on Friday, lunchtime. And then Saturday workbench will probably, I think I'm going to continue working on Bastions. Yeah, that's a pretty mundane looking trumpet. We're gonna have to spruce that up. Let's distort. Bring this in a little bit. Let's give this just a smidge of a tilt. There we go. That. And then we're gonna have to fancy this up to make it more plainer. Because right now it's just a trumpet. It's just a fucking trumpet. Right. Yeah. Where do we go from here, buddy? How do we make this interesting? It's Fey by nature. I don't have to design the effects for it specifically. We're leaving that to just the DMG random tables. I'm not actually detailing these. It's just a plot hook that the DM is free to flesh out. But if there's any interest, if I actually get any community interest, then I'll be able to take these different artifacts and actually build them out if people are interested. So hey, oh yeah, thanks a lot. I painted that. For the Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica book. If you drop down here, I don't know if you're a D&D MTG enthusiast. Obviously, you recognize the guild pack seals, so you can. How likely are you to recommend a Windows PC to others if asked? Yeah, probably highly likely. All my books are free preview, so if you click there, it's a 33-page. What this book does is it takes the 10 guilds of Ravnica and it converts them into otherworldly patrons. So your character becomes a guild mage warlock, and your pact is with the actual guild. So your guild pact is with your guild. So here's the full emblem that we built, which is obviously a reproduction of the actual guild, the guild seal, guild pact seal. But and then we use that guild pact seal background, and out of the page we're carving like a negative effect for each of the. It was just a fun artistic like fake origami sort of thing to overlay with. Yeah, and so there's a different warlock subclass. This is still 2014. We'll be updating this stuff for 2024, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I design role-playing games, I illustrate them, and then I publish them online. And I've been focusing on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition since the release of MTG stuff. So House Demir, love that. Golgari, got all of them. And then you go down, we have additional, we have 5 new pacts. Massacre Girl, having fun, dropping fireballs on people. Celestial Conclave. Become an ooze that you can reproduce yourself for Simic. Yeah, and then we have the pact boons invocations. We have 5 different packs. Cauldron to create potions. And then the cauldron boons. Like here's an example of somebody putting invisibility into a potion. So you drink the potion and you disappear. That's what we see happening here. This Demir agent disappearing from sight from this Azorius guard. And Pact of the Cloak. When you put on the cloak, it can change your shape, or you can create like an extra dimensional space with it. Or so we have these different invocations that are related to each of the packs. So the Pact of the Fane modifies your body. So you like pick up scent, or you get like a bite damage, or you gain animal friendship as just a passive ability. So different effects, and then here's how like your appearance can change with different types of creatures. And then we have another, Pact of the Lantern, which is Light Source, Pact of the Shield, which complements Pact of the Blade. And then we have 30 additional invocations that are reflective of different Magic the Gathering cards and stuff. So giant growth, stuff like that. Anyway, that's a thing. And then the color mana spell point variant rule system all together. 5 color mana system. This converts the entire MTG system into, or rather D&D 5e into the color mana system, and we've got like, you want to check that out. Here's the full MTG system. It's all still 2014, but we've been like, we're today at lunchtime in about like 6 hours. We'll be updating the color mana list. We've been doing that for the past couple days. So, exactly. So here's the color mana system. I'll be spending time on this today at lunch, but you can check out the past couple sessions that I've had here on live stream of converting spells into the color mana system. Some of the philosophy behind damage types and different aspects of Magic that can define inside the D&D game what the 5 colors are as opposed to the 8 schools. So it replaces the 8 schools in the Vancian Magic system with the color magic with mana point system instead. And I've ran an entire 20 level campaign from level 1 to 20 over 6 years using this, and I've ran a number of side campaigns from like level 1 to 5 using color mana. It's a pretty solid system, but we found some fun ways to improve it over the years that this 2024 update is a perfect opportunity for us to implement those, like researching things to change the colors and stuff like that. Just fun shit. So I'll be streaming, and I'll probably have to rebuild all the pages, and then I'll probably have opportunities to put in new artwork. So we do all that stuff. Crown of Zoriat. That's where we're at right now. 12 Zoriat. So I build Magic the Gathering for 5e. Obviously, I'm doing an Eberron adventure here now. I also am a huge Spelljammer enthusiast. And I'm also a Dominion-style enthusiast, so we're converting the Bastion system to be more risk-reward based, which is how I've been running my Bastions for the past 2 years. And we have a guild, an army system for 5e that uses 5e mechanics to actually. Oops, that's the wrong color, Chief. There we go. use 5e game engine to run military campaigns where you control an army. Super easy to do. You just gotta do it. But a lot of people don't go through all the iterative steps needed to dive away from here's an idea at the surface level, and then rebuild the entire game engine to incorporate that at a base level, which is like what the martial power system is, the color mana system. We're looking at Crown of Zoriat, the Realm of Madness. So let's create a Burger King style crown fit for beholder. Like that. We need a little bit more space around the horizon here. Something like that. And we have more down here. So yeah, I build the book, I play test it. I've got a playtest server. We're doing D&D stuff there. We're currently using the martial power system with the color mana system on my Discord community here. We got a playtest Monday nights. Oh my god, we had our first playtest last night. I haven't talked about that. God damn, that was a lot of fun. We had only had 3 players. Well, we'll probably have 4 next week. But it's a classic mega dungeon crawl. I've spent a number of sessions building out the dungeons here on screen and walking through the mechanics. But it's an old school Beckme style dungeon crawl where you only get experience points for withdrawing treasure. So as you're killing monsters, those traps that are threatening your life, all that stuff, those aren't worth any experience points. Those are just preventing you from moving. There's challenges to prevent you from just cakewalking the dungeon. But your goal is to extract treasure. So monsters have treasure on them. There's hordes of treasure that can be discovered in the creature's lairs. There's secret rooms that also have hordes in them. And so all you have to do is, and we spent the time doing this on screen so you can see how to do it, but you just take the amount of experience points that you need to get to the next level, and what the starting gold would be at that level. Subtract that starting gold from the previous level. Like 3rd level, they're supposed to have 200 extra gold plus whatever it is that they gain in creating their character, like the 75 gold they get at character creation. So if you create a 3rd level character, they essentially have 275 gold pieces that they could spend like on potions or common magic items if they wanted to, just little doodads, as well as armor and weapons and stuff. But yeah, build your character, and then you go in and you back me, and whenever you pull the treasure out, you decide, are these magic items that we want to keep and equip our character with so they become more powerful, and they statistically, through items, can defeat more challenges, or do we want to cash these things in for experience points to gain levels? And so that's how the old 1st edition D&D used to run. Like, that was the default game loop. And once you accumulate enough wealth and levels to become notable, to gain notoriety, you can then take on a bastion or a domain and start governing that domain. And then your wilderness encounters become themed around protecting or expanding your territory against monster or NPC threats. And that was a really solid game loop that would take you from 9th to 36th level, continuing to ratchet up from your little fief to a fief to a province to your own kingdom, to an empire, to a global or planar empire. And then by 36th level, that's when you start escalating to become immortal and a god, creating your own planes of existence and your own species of sentient creatures to worship you. So that's the Beckme system: basic, expert, companion, master, and immortal. So expert, first level 1 to 3 in the basic set, you're in the dungeon learning how to survive and beginning to accumulate wealth. In the expert box set 4 to 9, by the time you've accumulated enough experience and power to get to 9th level, Then you start gaining dominion, and then from level 10 to I think 20, 25, somewhere around in there, like 23 maybe. You gain companion systems, which is you now have companions, as in like an army that's following you around out of your bastion into other people's kingdoms to take over their kingdoms to increase your own power base or to consolidate different regions under your flag. And then once you do that, then you've got basically your own kingdom that's now expanding. So the master tier of play is becoming interplanar threats. It's like your kingdom starts to branch out across different realities. Like Eldraine, for example, the Feywild becomes so powerful that it starts breaching normal reality and basically invading the normal world. Your characters basically gain that level of power, and then from there you become a god. So fun stuff. The old school Beckney system was incredibly thorough and allowed for an insane level of gameplay at different tiers, at the different tiers. So that was the what's happening? Something there's weirdness happening. I'm just gonna fuck off. I'm just gonna merge all these down. Maybe not like that. Hold on. Something's gone awry. Okay, this is here. Is there anything here at this point? Nope. Anything here? Nope. Let's get rid of these, because I just broke my brain. And we go here. I get on a tear, and then I wake up in the middle of that tear. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Free transform. There we go. Flip horizontal. Scoot that over. Merge. And then this is 12. Zorkot. So I stream every day, Monday through Friday in the morning. I do artwork. Right now, the artwork is obviously for this Eberron adventure because this is the next thing that's on the rack. And then Mondays, Tuesdays, and Friday lunchtime at 1:30ish typically, which will be 6 hours from now. I still have a half hour to play. Let me go ahead and set my timer here. I've got 20 some odd minutes. I'm going to have a 20-minute timer. Monday through Friday in the morning doing artwork. Monday, Tuesday, Friday lunchtime doing design work. Today we'll be completing the color mana list update for 2024. And then we have a Thursday night stream that typically starts like around 5:30 or 6 o'clock Seattle time, which is fairly late for the East Coast, but yeah, we're gonna do Bastion work. The Bastion the skill point Bastion system. We're gonna work on that this Thursday, and then I think I want to make this trumpet a little bit smaller. There, and then let's take this flute and change its angle just a smidge. All right, there's our 12 items, and then there's obviously the Eye of Mabar itself. So let's take a look at that real quick here on the Crystals of Mabar book cover. We created this back around episode 40, and here's the full playlist of all episodes, all 369 episodes of all the maps, creature token assets, and all that stuff that we built for the zip file to run it on tabletop or VTT. But yeah, this is essentially the Eye of Mabar. This is the symbol of Sephiroth, which is the moon that governs the plane of Mabar. Yeah, there you go. It's basically just a dull gray metal orb that glows with necrotic energy when activated. So here, that's lucky number 13, which the team dealt with during this adventure, just ending its magic, and as a result, there's 12 other artifacts related to each of the other planes that the team can then treasure hunt beyond this adventure from level 8 through 20 if they want to make a full campaign out of it. So that's how that's sitting right now. So that's our right and center plane, and then over here, what this part of the book is talking about is continuing the campaign after you finish. This format is 16. This is a 16 by 9 format. Where'd my page stuff go? There it is. So a 16 by 9 ratio. This is a 12-point font on a 17 by 10 inch page. It fits really nicely on your typical tablet. It also fits really nicely on your typical cell phone as well as widescreen monitor. Those are all 16 by 9 ratios. And the fun thing is that horizontally, a lot of people can read this with just their bare. I have horrible vision, but people with good vision can typically read a 12-point font on a tablet with the full page visible. But if you need better, each column is also 9 by 16 ratio. So if you just want to look at one column at a time, you can zoom that in by flipping the screen horizontally, and then you can just look at the one single column at a time. Same thing with your phone, one column at a time. So you can just flip sideways to look at the columns, and then drop a page, and then flip sideways to look at the columns. That you can go through it page by page that way, or you can look at an entire page at a time. Every idea and thought in the adventure, one column, each column has separate thoughts. It's not necessarily just one thought per column, but all thoughts on a subject, like everything is granulated to a point where I can make the point and finish a complete statement in each column. So each column is like if you're looking at one column at a time, you're not missing any information. You're getting all the information you're supposed to get in that single column about that subject before moving on to another subject in the next column. Some subjects have multiple columns, but they get broken down into subcategories. Like, what's this town about? I might spend 10 pages on a village, and each column will be talking about either a separate building, room, or NPC in that village as individual, isolated thoughts. So it's very granular and piecemeal for easy digestion, point by point, as you go through the adventure as a DM. Yeah. and then the whole document is you'll be able to flip around and reference things by clicking, like pressing images, or like the bottom rail here is a navigation bar taking you through the different dungeons and portions of the adventure from beginning to end. Yeah. Anyway, there's all that in statement. So creatures unleashed. There's wandering undead. There's denizens of Mabar like demons and stuff, and then there's actual Yugoloth. Those are the three NPC monster threats that spill out of the manifest zone into the Carnwood as a result of the campaign, of the adventure just using the adventure. So these are things that can act as a cleanup. Like if demons get out into the Carnwood, they're going to rally forces and create a threat that can then attack humanity. So like those are things that you can do follow-up missions on. So I want to have kind of a thing going on here. Almost like a monster montage of threats that the team might have to. The DM may choose the threat. Like if your team takes over the Carnwood as your bastion for the rest of the campaign, then like these become your problem. I'm just going to doodle out some loose ideas about creatures, see if I can make a cool composition. But the Yugoloth in Mavar created the Eye of Mavar to lure in powerful casters to breach dimensions to open up a path for the Yugoloth to march an army through and attack Eberron. It's a trap, and it kills the the caster performing the ritual, well, it doesn't kill them. It turns them into a Yugoloth, so they become an agent of Mabar as a result. Like, if you want to have this plane manifest so much, then we're going to make you one of us and have you become subservient to the plane. And in this adventure, the caster didn't know that. It's the Emerald Claw that's attempting to accumulate power. A bunch of military necromancers. But hubris is often the downfall of villains. So in this case, this necromancer didn't heed the warnings that this could cost your life. It's like, nah, we'll just gather people and sacrifice them instead. It'll be fine. Like, okay, chief. Well, it backfired on him, and now he's in the process of being killed by the ritual. By the time the team gets there, you can either mercy kill him or let it play out, and then have to fight the Yugoloth. There's options, and we walk through what those options are as the conclusion of the adventure. So, fun stuff. So it's for 4 to 5 characters, level 7 to 8. Interesting note, the difference between the amount of experience points needed for encounter levels between levels 7 and 8, 4 8th level characters versus 5 7th level characters in D&D 2024, there's about 100 experience points to 300 experience points difference between the two. It's like 4,500 experience points that you need, like a deadly challenge. For 4 8th level characters, it's like 6,500 experience points, and for 5 7th level characters, it's 6,800 experience points. Like, it's like a 5% difference in the amount of experience points you need for a easy, moderate, or deadly encounter in 5e24. They're almost identical. 5 7th level characters versus 4 8th level characters are virtually identical. So you can have this adventure run with 5 7th level characters or 4 8th level characters, depending on the size of your party. Super easy. Fun. I love the changes that they've made for 2024 with adventure design, encounter design, with the experience point system. It's so easy now to use. It was a joy creating the different encounter levels for the Beckme dungeon, level 3 through 10. Super easy to create the challenges by stacking in the monsters. Very, very easy. And so far, it's the Beckme that we ran yesterday. We had 2 combat in a 2 hour. No, we started around 6:15. So in 2 hours and 45 minutes, they explored 1, 2, 3. They explored 4 rooms, had 2 encounters, and discovered 1 trap and 2 tricks. So they had effectively like 3 or 4 different types of encounters over the course of 3.5-ish hours. So decent block of time. And again, the actual monsters that they're fighting doesn't matter at all. They can spend as much time as they want. They don't gain a level until they've accumulated enough treasure to then go back to town and spend the treasure frivolously to acquire new, to gain new levels. So once they've, and we're keeping a stack of treasure as a document, and once the numbers total the amount of players that are in the session, they'll gain a level, and then everyone else that comes in Westmarch style will also be at that level. At the end of every session, they withdraw to take a long rest, so when they go back into the dungeon next session, they can have new characters and not break continuity. And as they gain levels, the dungeon restocks, so when they retreat, it's a 5-day journey back home to spend the experience. So they go back, they spend 1 day per level, basically carousing to spend the experience points, and then it's a 5-day journey back. So like a 5th level character is gone for like 15 days. So when you come back to the dungeon, you'll be familiar with the front end of it, but but the back end is going to be restocking with higher level characters as monsters as they push up from the Underdark to fill the space. It becomes a higher level dungeon
because you cleared out the low level stuff. So the power vacuum causes higher levels to move in. So like in an ongoing dungeon ecology campaign like Beckme was designed to be, you can go back and visit dungeons again as long as you haven't found the bottom yet. It'll continue to fill up with higher level monsters, and once you get to the bottom and purge the dungeon, you clear it out and it's dead now, and it takes like X decades for it to repopulate. So then you move on to another dungeon and you continue to delve deeper and deeper underground with higher and higher level threats. But you can continue to have higher level threats introducing into these dungeons, like we just said, because when you clear them out, it upgrades the level of the dungeon. And then new entrances to Underdark naturally bubble up like pimples, basically, that pop. And now you have this little wound in your body. That's effectively what Underdark breaches are. And then you have to send in heroes to close the gap and heal the wound. Otherwise, the world gets overflooded with monsters. So that's the low key threat in a dungeon delving campaign. Like, you gotta deal with these things, otherwise they're gonna end up destroying the world. So that activates your characters to go in and start delving. Anyway, I'm gonna make some zombies here. Make a little horde. I'll put in some little gribbly monsters down here. Light sketching right now. This is just obviously very rough stuff, but I'm just trying to fill the space and create a composition that I like. Says this is the space I have to operate with, and I don't necessarily think I need to say anything. Like, the nice thing about having these gaps in here is I can either fill them with illustration or I can pontificate upon a point. And I don't think I need to probably fill this one out anymore. So Creatures Unleashed, Wandering Undead. You know what? Honestly, I might want to do something like, let's get rid of this here. Let's take this structure and drop it down here. Because, like, maybe I need an intro into this space. Like, maybe I want to blather on for a few lines. I should, oops. There. Like, I should probably have like a 2 or 3 sentence intro about, like, these are the creatures that are left unleashed. I can't believe I don't actually have that there. So that's what I should do. Do that, and then yeah, and then that becomes the space that's available. So, and that actually feels a little bit more balanced on the page. So, okay, great. Let me go ahead and, what time is it? 7:40. Let's grab the document here and let's crack open Crystals in the Bar, 11/19/2024. Is that the most recent version? Oh no, this is the one. Let's get rid of this one. My hard drive has been slower to load lately. I don't know what's up with that. Crystal Bar. Let's go with date modified. That doesn't feel, something feels off. There we go. No, that's the sample front. Let me get rid of that. My brain hurts. Did I? Oh, I have it earliest first. Let's flip that. There we go. 11, 11, 10, 10. Okay, cool. This is the most recent version. Okay, great. That was good. Yeah, let's peel that back open. Move that. Let's go here. Spelljammer. Oh, okay. Cool. And it feels like this should be the last time I did a new update document. Let's go to browse. Let's do. Let's save a new copy. Let's go with 12. What is it? Was it 1210? Yeah. Let's have this become our new default. And let's scroll down to the end of the document. New monsters, NPCs, new items and oddities. There's Appendix 2. And then Appendix 3. Alternate. Come on, baby. Thank you. Alternate plot hooks. Let's scroll down to the... scroll down to the back page. Here's all the stuff that we've been doing. Lots of stuff. Let's grab a couple lines here. Many monsters have roamed from the manifest zone. Monsters have roamed from the manifest zone prior to, and this might not be the best text, during the adventure that are unchecked. That remain a threat to the farming communities and loggers, farming communities along edge of the Tarnwood. Monsters, monsters roaming from the manifest zone prior to and during the adventure remain a threat to the farming communities along the edge of the Carnwood. That the characters must hunt and eliminate before they must hunt down. Five, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
there. And so when I am working in Word and Photoshop, what page is this? This is page 104. So let's grab here. I can export from Microsoft Word as a PDF. Page 104. I can then go to options, current page, documents without properties or structure tags, publish the single page. It has a transparent background. So here's the PDF. So when we go back to Photoshop and we go to File, Open, and we go to Crystals on the Bar, down to page 104. Open. I then copy the full page. And since that page is the exact same size as this page, I paste in place. Drop these out of the way, and now we have the updated text. And I was correct in guesstimating the size of the space, so we've just updated the document. Blip, drop it there, and our Yugoloth is now filling that space with the Undead Horde. And we have our new page balance. So that's how we build this thing. We work on a page, we import it into Photoshop, we then art on it, and then once the art is done, we export the art and drop it back into the Microsoft Word document. So I'm gonna hit save here real quick. So we have that here as 1210, perfect. So like we can scroll up here, you can see, if I can get the mouse to move, thank you. So you can see like here we imported the book cover, but it's only 8.5 by 11, so it can fit inside of one column here. And you can see little spaces we have for illustrations, but like you can drop down here, like here's a map of the village, the town square. So you can see that drops in here, but we have all these gaps here that we've already filled in previous episodes with portions, like pieces of the map. Here's a farming homestead placement for a map. Another placement for a village map. And then we get down past the village into the Carnwood itself. So here's an illustration space. Carnwood map, Carnwood map, Carnwood map, illustration, space for another illustration, and then from the Carnwood into the manifest zone. I'm currently working on page layouts here off screen, cleaning up the text. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of the Carnwood. With any luck, I'll have that done this weekend. And then this time next week, we'll be moving into, there's 3 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, and then there's the 3 appendices. The appendices are all basically done, which is what we're working on right now. So once, with these 5 pages of the Carnwood, once I have those finished, I will literally, of the 104 pages, literally 52 of them will be completed. So it will be halfway done. And then we'll have the manifest zone and the underground dungeon where the ritual is being performed. With God's grace, we'll be able to get those things done here by mid-January. And then once all the artwork is done, I don't have to worry about doing page layouts off screen. I can start an idea here in the morning for artwork to put into the book, and then for the rest of the night when I'm off screen, I can spend time, like I listen to Sepultura and Led Zeppelin and Tool and stuff like that. I listen to copyright music, and as well as like news and stuff like that. Just like streaming sidebar stuff to listen to while I do artwork that isn't necessarily entertaining for anyone. But so I'll be able to come back the next day and like, hey, here's the progress that I got done, and we'll be able to continue moving along. So it's a little slow right now because I'm still like I have to build the artwork alongside the layouts of the book to make sure those things coordinate. But once I have that final text resolved and all of the spaces open, it's just let's go. You know, now you can see that same process with the Spelljammer book that I have, the Spelljammer production playlist. That's the exact same process of me going through the pages, building out the book, dropping in artwork, and then continuing each session. So you can see that process. I'm just duplicating that effect here now with this Eberron adventure, as I did with the Spelljammer, as I'm doing with the artwork for like the Elemental Key book that I had. You can see that playlist going through that same process. Same process I'm going to do again for the Color Mana system, for the Mecha, the Spelljammer subclasses, the Spelljammer Mecha Kaiju book, all the Color Mana system stuff, the Martial Powers book, the Bastions book, all that stuff. And then getting through all that stuff, I will hopefully have accumulated enough of a library of not only quality work, but also demonstrating the streaming process of building all of them. So then when I drop into doing Kickstarters, it's like, here's what you can expect from me on a Kickstarter. Sample 6,000 hours worth of content. And we'll do the same. And then we'll just be building whatever it is that we decide to build through the Kickstarter project. We'll have a well-documented success rate of building books, and then you can use those, since all my books are free preview, you can use those as proof of concepts for what you can expect the quality to have for whatever Kickstarter it is that I do that you decide to back. So that's the dream. That's my 2025 through 27. Like by 2026, I hope to launch my first Kickstarter and actually have and then begin production on it in the beginning of 2027. And that will be the start of me exporting myself out of the DMsGuild into the larger world. By then, my stream, I should have at least 500 subscribers by then, God's willing. So I can start putting like a marketplace. And the cool thing is, like, I can start selling stock art and my different books on Patreon. I can actually have a ribbon here providing all that. So like, if you like my art and you like my books, then you'll have an easy path to get access to them through here. So those are the ideas. And it is 7:54. I am just about out of time for the day. So we're filling in these undead here. I just want to have a horde of undead here in the background. That is going to be under the Yugolov's control. That is the threat that's being presented here. And we'll fade that out here along the edge to create this border so that we can drop into the artifacts. Maybe this Ultraloth Overlord wants to collect all the artifacts for itself so that it can spread Mabar into all the planes of existence, and have a realm of death and darkness for everything. That'd be a cool overarching campaign. But, okay, so it is 7:55 here in Seattle. I got to bounce out of here to get to my day job. I will be back in 5.5 hours to complete the Color Mana spell list. Level 7, 8, and 9, like we had done for the past couple sessions. Boy, oh boy, I'm excited. Working in things in different pieces and breaking them up is a great way to be able to keep me from burning out on anything. If I've got like 4 or 5 different projects I'm working on at the same time, I can bounce from project to project to make sure that whatever is catching my attention, I can breathe life into. That's important to prevent burnout with so many fires and so many irons in the fire. Killing that fire is a risk, so I have to keep moving things, shuffling things around, and changing up what I'm working on to keep that energy moving between design work, layouts, and artwork. And then play testing off screen. Yeah, that's it for today, guys. I will be back today in 5.5 hours to continue working on game design. In the meantime, catch you guys later. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. And I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot.